Hey guys, before we start and kick off this week's episode with our usual intro, I wanted to give a quick shout out to two people who left Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast one a review on Apple Podcasts, and to someone who I happen to know personally sent me a very sweet private message and I wanted to share with you guys and just let you in on some of the feedback and review we have received. So to begin, Apple Podcasts, we received a review this past Friday, and it is from DJ the Cat, and it is titled Thick Fit and Rick the Finisher, Our Real Talk. This episode was everything. Thank you, Miss D, for sharing your journey, encouraging us, and having Rick the Finisher on. Hearing a trainer say that I can be thick and fit helps my health journey. You are most welcome, DJ the Cat. I'm glad you loved the episode, and I hope you continue to tune in and continue to give me feedback, not only on the reviews, but also please to you and to anybody who's listening, email the show. The email is linked to the show description. I would love to hear from all of you and any suggestions of what you would like to hear. And to Sonia, who messaged me privately with a sweet little feedback on her being one of my listeners. Sonia and I worked many years ago, well, not so many, but years ago, and her message says, "Hey Daisy, I just paused episode 18 and want to congratulate you. I've listened to a few of your podcasts and so far they have been really good. I always like listening to you talk at work, very articulate and entertaining. This is perfect for you." Well, thank you, Sonia. Wish you continued success. Keep it up. I really appreciate that feedback as well. This is what I love to hear. This is what I want to share with everyone else. Please leave us reviews. So you hear me? I always do this. It's a one-woman show, but I do have a little production behind the scenes, and that's exactly who you're going to get a dose of this week on this episode 20, in which we are celebrating 20 amazing episodes, in my humble opinion. And before I let you guys in on this gem of an episode, I want to just make a quick announcement that your girl, Double Dose of Raw Talk, with your host, Miss D, is actually partnering up with two amazing human beings. Businesses are called Alancia Tax Services, LLC, and Smith Preparatory. We are collaborating and partnering up. I happen to just, be someone who wanted to contribute sometime last year, and this year they are actually back with their third annual back to school supply drive. I will be posting the actual ad pretty soon, but in the meantime, mark the calendar. It is in New York City, in Corona, Queens. It is one of the neighborhoods that was hit the hardest by the pandemic. As you guys know, we were the epicenter, and so we are definitely going to accept school supply donations. We will have all the information on the post once it's ready of who you can reach out to, amongst the three of us. But most importantly, this year, we are also going to continue taking the monetary donations, and we will put the Cash App information on that post. It will be scheduled for mid-August. Details to follow and to come. Please follow my social media pages. I will tag them on the show description, and please stay tuned, and we hope that you can contribute to this amazing cause. It is their third annual, and this is the first year that I'm joining their back to school supply drive, and I am so excited. So shout out to Alancia Tax Services LLC and Smith Preparatory for this amazing cause you guys have been doing these past couple of years, and for allowing me to come into this world. And so now, thank you for joining me. You guys are ready? Like I said, there's a whole production, and you guys are about to get a dose and taste of it. So here it is, episode 20. Thank you and enjoy. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. I am your host, Miss D, and as you know, here on the show, we get pretty comfortable being uncomfortable. We talk about all the rawness and all the raw mess. Joined every week with some pretty dope friends and guests, we unleash all there is to know on surviving adulthood, and we discuss different topics related to cultures, controversies, sometimes a little bit about love, sometimes even sex, and we definitely oftentimes discuss relationships and relationships. Join me We have juicy conversations, friendly debates, and sometimes intriguing discussions. So, thank you for joining us on another episode, and I hope you enjoy the show. Like that. I do like that.
It'd be funny as hell.
We ain't shit, y'all. Honestly, we ain't shit. This is not nice production. Is like a mess, but I love
Not
it.
nice production.
Not nice productions. Y'all, if I could get my throat right, I will become a singer.
But what do you have to do with your throat? Like,
Well,
what do
like
you
I have to go
do?
through vocal classes for my throat to release these tones accordingly. That's what I would need to do. All right, are we ready? I'm going to take a sip. All right, welcome back, everyone, to another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast with your host, Misty. And before I continue, y'all, Double Dose of Raw Talk has officially turned 20. Oh my God. I just wanted the scandal, and this is why these two bitches are on the show right now. All right, so let me just off the bat introduce to y'all who are my guests, but officially for this episode, for the celebration of episode 20, my co-hosts, we have Kvngfree and StephyKiss.
Hey.
Ooh. Hey, hi. How are you?
Oh my God. So you guys hear that mess? Y'all don't want to know what we're doing. We're not going to explain ourselves. Y'all just going to take us as we are. And that's it.
Listen, guys, okay? It's Monday, and it was a rough-ass fucking day. The planets are fucking with everybody. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. It was wild today. So that's it. That's it. We just needed to sit back and relax a little bit.
We sure did. We're all lit right now. And so y'all in for a very lit episode. Y'all, we're going to celebrate Double Dose of Raw Talk hitting 20. That means Double Dose of Raw Talk is grown as fuck. And we are going to move on with the show. So first and foremost, we officially hit 4 months on Friday, July 17th.
Hey.
So I have a whole agenda. As all of y'all know, I have a whole agenda always, but I'm going to like move a few things around right now. And off the bat, I want to shout out this very special week. So we are recording on Monday. It is late in the hours on Monday night, July 13th. Is July 13th? Yes, July 13th. I want to give a special shout out to all my Cancer birthdays this week in particular. A lot of businesses I collaborate with, friends and family. Yours truly, StephyKiss, on this platform. Her birthday is on Wednesday. Shout out to StephyKiss.
It is on Wednesday. I can't wait. But also, my baby is also the 17th. So his birthday coincides along with Daisy's, apparently.
Yes.
17 is a very lucky number. I love it. I always look 17 on everything.
Yes.
He's going to be 11 and 7 feet tall. And that's it. You know, that is what it is.
Oh, we love our Ethan baby.
We sure do love our Ethan baby. And I'm so excited. I just want to shout out everybody because I'm a water sign and I have love for water signs. And so our vibes are very unique. But again, it's special people in my life who I absolutely love and adore. And we got to celebrate them. So shout out to all you Cancer babies, like I said, particularly this week. So I also want to give a huge shout out to all the guests that have so far come on this show, on this platform, to share their stories, to put me on a situation to have to share my stories too, to become more and more transparent, more vocal, more outspoken, more vibrant, like I promised from trailer episode, and really just put it all out there on some raw talk shit. So I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who has come on this platform. And I just wanted to share and just talk with my girls right here, Free and Steph, on everything I feel like I've accomplished so far as a rookie podcaster. And one of the things I definitely like, I'm so feeling like I checked it off my bucket list, is that I've had my third podcaster on the show. So someone who's in the industry, who's been on the industry longer than me, has actually come on my show, on my platform, and has shared their story and their testimony. So that's definitely one of the goals I had, and I've officially checked it off my bucket list. So I
Yes.
feel very empowered by that. The other thing is, shout out to StephyKiss for hosting and pulling through with Pods for Bonds. It was the first virtual live show I participated on, which she had the full production going on, and it was for the purpose of getting donations and really bringing light to the movements going on in our life today for Black Lives Matter. And we were able to raise money for the Bell Project. Right, Steph?
Yes, that was an amazing project. We ended up raising almost $1,300 to go over to the Bail Project, where they raise, the bail. Oh my God, I can't think. I'm sorry, I am fucked up. It's fucking Monday, guys. I was not expecting to talk about that. I am sorry.
It's
I
okay.
haven't thought about that in so long with everything going on, like my birthday and
Yep.
the show, and my mind is always moving. And that's actually how that whole thing came along. Like, it literally went so fast. And I really want to commend Daisy for being a part of that within itself, because it was a whirlwind. And I feel like we really got it together, and we got it together so fast. So Daisy, I mean, I know she wanted to come on here and commend other podcasters, but honestly, I look up to Daisy so
I
freaking much.
can't.
It's so ridiculous.
I can't with
She
her.
started this.
Y'all, Stacy is awesome.
Yeah, we're so lit right now. It's not even funny.
No, but I'm dead serious. It's the truth. So, yes, it was an amazing project. Daisy helped freaking much. I don't think we slept that week. I think we all crashed like that Saturday. Like, we all died
Yeah, yeah.
because
And
it
it
was
was,
just so much we were doing.
yeah, and it was a huge collaboration. I think for us who are trying to like really put on the front line our podcasting, this is our business, this is something we're really passionate about. It was a true test for all of us who collaborated on that show. And it would not, thank you for everything you're saying, Steph, but it could not have happened had you not just woken up one day, just once again had another idea, but we roll with it and we fuck with it because you come up with really good ideas, and it takes a village, right? And so this village is of podcasters, and so it's definitely an accomplishment for me to have been able to participate in that. The other thing I wanted to celebrate is that I've officially surpassed 1,800 downloads. So I don't
Okay.
always,
Okay.
yes, I don't always
Hello,
check.
hello.
I don't always check, but I just happen to like realize that that's the number I'm up to. And so that's also an accomplishment. Like, whoever you guys are that are listening, trust that I appreciate you more than anything. Free is definitely one of our podcaster consumers, but there is a gem to Free, and she has an eye for editing, and she is our help. Like, she helps us. She really is our motivator, our person who looks out for us. She has so much to do in our behind the scenes too. Don't get it twisted. And this is why I wanted her on this celebration too, because a lot has happened from episodes 1 through 10 to episodes 10 through 20. And Free has a lot to do with that. So I definitely wanted to shine some light on Free too. And just this little triangle right here with the support system we have for each other. I don't know if I would have been able to reach episode 20 the way I have if it wasn't for this production group.
Right. Our little production.
Yes, it's a little
Okay.
production we got
Our
here.
little pyramid, our little production pyramid.
The pyramid. I'm making the pyramid right, or this is a diamond. I don't know. I'm fucked up right now. I can't explain it, guys. It looks like a pyramid
The
to me,
diamond pyramid.
but it's a diamond. It might be.
But nah, I really
Diamond
overall appreciate you
pyramid.
having me on. It's just it's a learning process for all of us. You know what I mean? I think it's, phenomenal that you had the Pods for Bonds live show when that happened. Who was to say that all of us collectively could actually come up with $1,300? You know what I mean? It's just so nice to see what, you guys have been able to accomplish in a short amount of time. I mean, it hasn't even been 1 year. It's been a matter of months, weeks rather, so with those things in mind, it's a major accomplishment. So yeah, definitely celebrate every milestone, celebrate, every download, like whatever the case is. But eventually what you're noticing is that the trend is going up
Yeah.
and you guys are gonna make it to the top. So That's
Yeah.
fire. I appreciate y'all, just having me on as well. To go ahead and do, the background editing, that kind of stuff. That's always
She
fun. So
does,
I
guys.
appreciate
She
y'all.
does. Y'all don't even be knowing, but she got talent. The other thing I definitely want to share, and I have shared it on my public pages and my podcast pages, is the show has definitely charted amongst the 200. And while we do not always keep a close eye to that, it's definitely something to celebrate too, because it just goes to show for me, and I've said this before and I will always say it, I'm not looking to have thousands of followers. I want listeners. I want people who are actually going to listen and take in everything that this show has to offer.
Mm.
So, to everyone who has genuinely listened and has been able to impact this show to even make it on the top 200 map, I appreciate you guys beyond belief. And the other thing I want to celebrate is that Raw Talk has covered plenty of necessary topics that need to be had, not only yesterday, not only today, not only tomorrow, but it should continue always. So shout out to that I've had plenty of guests coming on the show, even if it's been interacting during our lives. And again, even for a first virtual live show, to again continue having these discussions amongst ourselves, amongst our friends, amongst our family, amongst our
Mhm.
communities, and even in some cases at our jobs. So shout out to everyone who's continued these conversations, who have given me positive feedback on it. I really appreciate it. And then I want to give a huge shout out to this company that I have been familiar with for quite some time. It is a very amazing woman who runs this company. It is called the Golden Easel. I actually am in the middle of learning how to now juggle working my regular essential working hours and being a single mom, as you guys know, and handling this one woman show. And I felt like I needed a break. And I had purchased this project from the Golden Easel, which is basically they offer you canvases so you can paint well, because of the pandemic, you could paint at home. What they normally do is they host shows or they host private parties and they'll bring the party to you so people could paint, sip and paint, right? But this time, being that we had kids at home, it is actually the first time that I saw her being so creative. It was so dope. I was able to order two canvases with two, like, I guess, like traced out pictures that I had ordered for me and Marcus to do at home. Marcus, for those who are just tuning in, is my son. He's 13. And we were able to have a pretty dope family night, just painting, just talking, just he and I making the best out of these quarantine days. And so shout out to the Golden Easel for that. It's an amazing woman who runs this business. It expands further than just, paint nights at home. She's amazing. I will tag her information in the show description, and you guys should definitely check out the Golden Easel.
Mhm.
Um, but it was a pretty dope family event that I had with my son. And now I definitely wanna, y'all know I'm gonna have to highlight this information. Free and Steffi know I feel some type of way about certain things that have been trending in the internet these days. But before I start talking about the new trends, first and foremost, we're going to just give our condolences and just shine some light on what has happened today, confirmed about Naya Rivera. It is pretty sad what we just found out. She's a celebrity, public figure. It is an unfortunate, I'm going to call it an accident for right now. Um, for those of you who have already, I'm sure, seen it on the internet, she has passed away. It looks like it was accidental, but it's pretty sad. And so we're just saying rest in peace to Naya Rivera and shine some light on that, because
Mhm.
it's pretty devastating.
Mhm.
She leaves behind
Rest
a
in
4 year
peace.
old, yeah, a 4 year old little boy. And so I'm a mom of a boy, so I can't imagine how that's going to be. And before we continue to the newest trends, we just want to say certain names once again: Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain. Like I said, there are conversations that need to continuously be had amongst all communities, amongst all of society right now. And those are two names that I still not can get over. And we need to continuously say them and continue to shine light. I also want to shine light on the situation that we have with DACA and the immigration kids in cages. And let's not forget the movements of Black Lives Matter and also Black Trans Lives Matter. And again, if those of you who have been seeing my show descriptions these past few episodes, I have continuously tagged their educational links for people to continue educating themselves and continue to doing research and understand why all of this is so important for us to keep talking about and mentioning it.
Mhm.
And so that is that with everything that I feel some people have forgotten about, but we're going to keep it going. And now we're going to talk about the newest trends. So, Steffi and Free, are you guys ready for this shit show? Because it's about to start. All
I'm
right.
ready.
So here we
Here
go.
we go.
Hashtag entanglement. Where do
Ooh.
we begin? So here's the thing. Everybody's talking about it, right? I am also a podcaster consumer. I've been listening to it on other shows. One of my very favorite shows, and of course, alumni to myself and Steffi, to Idea to Launch Academy, another shop podcast with Shay and Chris. They actually released an episode yesterday titled Entanglement, and they shine some light on the Jada and Will scandal. I'm going to call it a scandal because that's exactly what it was. They really gave their outlook on it and their thoughts on it, and which I thought was absolutely dope. But one of the things that they definitely left me thinking with, which was interesting to hear on their perspective of things, and I wanted to shine some light on it today. Shay and Chris, they are the two hosts of the show, Another Shot podcast. Definitely check them out, and I will tag them in my show description. They shine some light on the fact that people were feeling bad for Jada. And, you know, what if the tables were turned? Would people have really felt bad for Will if Will would have come to the forefront and admitted that he is who engaged in this type of activity? And I had actually been thinking about that in depth. And I actually feel like the majority of the things and the feedback I've seen these past few days is that people were actually coming for Jada and attacking her for doing what she did, and then also coming to the forefront and talking about it. And I actually felt like if it was the tables were turned, be it because of cultural factors or be it with the way I was raised, I feel like there is a double standard there, because I feel like men tend to still be understood for cheating and are usually just applauded for being men. And
Right.
whereas women are usually dragged and frowned upon on for doing something that they're not known to always do. I want to use guys' outlook on this, and I wanted to talk about it just with that part of it, because I'm not sure, maybe I've missed it, but I don't know if Jada, in fact, was being looked at as a victim. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, she definitely wasn't being looked at as a victim. She was definitely, I feel like, very much being portrayed as like very manipulative because they keep on bringing his like mental state into it as well. I don't know much about August Alsina's life story. I didn't see I think there was like a documentary or show or a video or something about,
Mm.
his struggles. I think he has some type of like
He was
autoimmune
diagnosed with,
disease or something like
yeah,
that. He has lupus. Okay.
lupus. Yeah, yeah.
Um so I don't know much about all of that when it comes to him, so I can't speak on all of that. From what I understand and from what I've always known about Will and Jada, because at this point, we don't call them the Smiths.
Mm,
We call them Will and Jada. So
mm,
at
Mm.
this point, with Will and Jada, I always felt like they just always did their own thing. A lot of people, and I'm just going to go off into like a little side tangent. A lot of people were talking about how, oh, they're probably not having sex or they're probably not doing this and they're not doing that because of whatever body language Will was exhibiting during the recording. But in my head, I was like, I didn't get any of that. I just got, he's pissed because his wife's side piece came out and said some shit.
mm-hmm,
So I don't believe that I don't believe the whole we were broken up.
mm,
I really don't. I just think society isn't ready to hear the we were open. I don't think they want to
Right.
lose their listeners in like rural Oklahoma or some shit like that because they still hold a standard. Like Will is still the Fresh Prince. Like let's fucking be real. You
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
know? So that's my look on it. I don't know. I think I went off into like a whole other thing, but
No, it makes perfect sense
No.
with what you're saying. It absolutely does. And I think that may have a lot to do with why I don't think she's so much being looked at as, oh, poor Jada. I think it is that a lot of society just doesn't understand what their dynamic is and what their relationship is.
mhm.
And I think that's why I've seen more of the dragging towards her. Free, what is your take on this?
Initially, my first reaction is that I really don't feel like August should have opened his mouth about anything. I think that's just something that's like it's always been heard about, rumored about between Will and Jada, like, oh, they were swingers, or no, they're in an open relationship. They can do whatever with they want with each other. But I just don't think it was in August's place to just speak up and say, oh well, my entanglement, like with with
Mhm.
um with Jada. So I mean, I think that's just really where it begins for me. As far as like how Jada's being seen, I mean, I just feel like you know, um, in today's society, the way, people are starting to warm up more towards the fact that women can be more aggressive, they can be more, out there and wanting to saying the things that they want and doing the things that they want. It's definitely the stigma is definitely there, but it's a little bit more open than what it was in the past.
Mhm.
Um, so
Mhm.
yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I got.
So I appreciate that outlook too about August because I actually had that same sentiment and I didn't even know Free actually felt like this, guys. I had that same sentiment. I felt that for him to come on the platform to share his story. Yes, it's his story. Yes, he's telling his truth. But he is bringing a whole couple into the story because that's what makes his story. So I had
Right, but
actually
real
go
quick,
ahead.
who
Go ahead.
asked him? Like, did I miss something?
I
Because I
think I
feel like
missed
they're
it
saying
too.
this was 4 years ago. So
Right.
where are you, like, what happened? Where are you coming from? Did something just happen? Did you try to hit her up and she dubbed you? Like, what occurred that made you want to reach? Because I'm sure Angela Yee did not just be like, let me dig in the crates. And I remember, oh, Jada and August went to a show together. Let me see if they
Mhm.
actually had sex. I'm sure that didn't
Mhm.
happen.
I'm with you.
Right,
That's
right.
exactly what I'm thinking too. Like, what is it that triggered this? Because I feel like it was something that did happen at some point, but and we saw it, but I felt like it was quiet for some time. So it makes you think like, why now? And why the way you did it? If allegedly, I know I love the word allegedly. If allegedly Will Smith gave you his blessings, then why not just go on a show to talk about it with Will Smith and with Jada?
Mm-hmm.
Just my
Because it's not
opinion.
scandalous. It's not scandalous enough for them. See, the thing is, it's just, yeah, everyone knows it's Will and Jada. And, Jada's name just really hasn't been out there other than Red Table Talk. Neither has August's name. So unless, I just think it was like really more so for publicity. Like it was
Mm,
released more so for, oh my gosh, Jada might be coming out with a new, TV show or something excited or a new podcast.
Mm.
You know, people, I think celebrity has gotten to the point where it's kind of like we've caught on to your game. You'll distribute this, wild and loud rumor to rile everybody up, to have your name in their mouths. And I think that's just the thing. It's just to rile people up, or, bring up excitement around their name. And oh, you remember when Jade and August? But the whole point is you're saying their name, you're speaking about them, you're thinking about them, you're writing and tweeting about them, posting
mm,
about them.
mhm.
So it keeps their names quite relevant, no matter what it is that they're doing in the background.
Right,
I
right,
mean,
no.
if when you hang around people, not that they hung around people, but they hung around people associated with the Kardashians, like you learn a couple of things.
Mhm.
That's prime example right there. I mean, it's always like it was like that before. Like just before Kanye's new album came out with Kid Cudi, there was this whole like, oh, I love Trump and Trump is my king of the
Yep.
universe and I can't wait to tickle his taint. Like all these things. So for me, all of a sudden, woo, we got a new CD, new album came
Mm-hmm.
out, and now everyone's supposed to be excited, and it's like, all right, but you just did some dirt just to get your name out there and just to keep everyone talking about you. It's just a thing they do. We caught on
Yeah.
to it.
Just to piggyback off of that real quick, and I'm gonna just say this on Daisy's podcast because I've just been thinking about it, and I don't know who listens to me, but
Ew.
um, anybody who thought that Kanye just came up with running for president 2 weeks ago is out of their mind.
Mhm.
Come on.
Okay. Kanye has been talking about running for president for 2020 since 2016.
He sure
So if
has.
He
you
sure
think
has.
it's just not happening because he didn't have time to file paperwork, and
Come
so
on.
that way you have to write his name in the ballot, no. He announced it right before the paperwork, right after the paperwork was due, or some dumb shit like that. Like,
Mhm.
you know what's probably going to end up happening? He's going to come out with a song, or he's going to come out with an album, and is
Hmm.
literally going to say like President Kanye, and
Mhm.
that's what it's going to be called, or some
Mm.
dumb shit like that, or like election album or some shit. Like, I
Right.
promise
President
you, like
West.
President
Listen.
West, yeah.
Listen, I have loved Kanye for a very long time. Up until he married the Kardashian. That's when he lost me. That's when he lost me. So
But let me ask you, did you stay watching the Kardashians? Because that's fucked up.
it is fucked up. And one of the reasons why I did stay watching it was to see Kanye and Scott.
Shame. Shame.
If I'm gonna be honest, that's the
Right.
reason.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
Shame.
Shame on me.
Shame.
I
Shame.
mean, if I have to pick my favorite Kardashian, it's definitely Scott. And then comes Kanye, if I have to admit that. And now it's Corey. Okay. Those are my favorite Kardashians. If y'all don't know them, watch the show and you'll see who they are. But those are my favorite Kardashians at
Fuck the
this point.
Kardashians, bruh.
Oh, they fuck with all of these men. They fuck with all. I am
Well,
convinced.
as soon I
Say it.
knew
Say it.
Kanye's life was gonna go downhill, as soon as I saw that first show, I never watched the Kardashians, but my friend told me at the time, she was like, "Yo, Kanye is dating Kim Kardashian." I was like, "For what?" Like, I don't understand why.
For what?
And this is,
What was the reason?
I was so what in Cardi B's loudest voice? Like, what was the reason? Uh, why the fuck is he dating her? And then she was like, "Oh, he's gonna be on the show." So I watched that one episode where he was hiding in the fucking corner, looking like he was gonna fuck. I don't know what was wrong with him. Like, he looked so uncomfortable. Like, I wanted to yell through the TV, like, run. Run. Your body is physically, like, you look like you are. It was ridiculous.
He was out of place. He was out of place. And guess what? He still looks like that till this day. And the episodes he comes on, he still looks like that.
He's rejecting it. Like, his body is literally rejecting it.
And now in recent seasons, like, he has verbalized his rejection to Kim's way. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't love the woman. Clearly he does. He's with her. But he rejects a lot of their style and a lot of the shit that they do on the show. And it's because Kanye is his own person. There is a very genius man there. I do believe that, because I was once a very enormous and huge fan of his. I just feel like these women, these Kardashian women, just totally fuck up these men. I really wholeheartedly feel that, except Scott. Scott is the only one that escaped on time, and he is A-okay.
He didn't marry into that.
That's true. You're right. The problem is the part that they say I do. That's the part. You're right.
Yeah,
All right.
Kim
You're right.
came through like a banshee and destroyed Kanye.
They
She
sure
did.
did.
She
They sure
did.
did.
He said, "I'm literally like,
It gets me
I'm
so
totally
upset.
and literally gonna like steal his life. Like, it's literally so cute. And I'm just gonna like turn him and take him to the dark beyond." Or whatever it was that they had said for Get Out.
She just impersonated Kim.
It's so
it's
It
devastating.
gets me so upset.
Yeah, it's devastating. I feel you, Steph. I do. I absolutely do. But speaking of, canceled shows like the Kardashians, because I don't watch them anymore, we're going to talk about the next trend that's been happening, how we are canceling Goya. Now, I don't want to go too deep into this because we've definitely seen a whole frenzy on it. We have. And I've already made my executive double dose of raw talk decision to no longer purchase anything further on Goya. And I've had very extensive conversations with people on how I can save the day with some of the Goya products that I religiously only buy from them to make at home. With that being said, though, I still wanted to give the platform just to speak on it real quick and just express how upsetting it is, no matter how much the company has donated for such a great cause to the Latino community, to the Hispanic community, for the CEO to still go up and basically slap every single one of the Latinos in the face, talking about we have such a great leader. Sir, if you did not hear the first 5 minutes of my episode, let me refresh your memory. I don't even want to say his name because I'm so disgusted. But there are still immigrant kids in cages, and DACA is still not on the safe end of it all. I mean, this person, this thing that's in office still finds his way to attack the Latino community and the Hispanic community. And this is why
he hates us, bro.
He hates us. Yeah.
Like, he hates us. Like,
yeah.
And not to say that he's not racist overall, but like, he has a specific hate for Latinos, and like, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand. Who broke his heart?
That's a good question. That's actually a very good question. I've never
He grew
even
up
thought of
in
that.
Queens. Who broke his heart? What Queens bitch broke his heart?
Where you at?
And you know
Were you at
what? You
Consuela?
know what? It probably was a consuela. And this is not
It
us
was.
making fun of anybody on some derogatory shit because I know
Right.
plenty of Ecuadorians who are named consuelas, and I'm Ecuadorian myself.
I
And
have an
they
auntie.
major yeah, thank you. And they live in Queens. But it's not just Ecuadorians. I mean, there is a
Mm-hmm.
community in Queens that's predominantly Hispanic. Absolutely.
Yes.
One of y'all did this. One of y'all must have done this to this man that he hates us so much. And Steph does have a point in that. But this is why he has so much hatred to everyone that doesn't look like him. And this is why he hates everyone who is not on his quote unquote level of, his financial stability or who he is in New York, etc. He hates everything and anyone that doesn't look like him. And this is
Mm-hmm.
why I wanted to mention this trend of canceling Goya and why it is relevant, because it is relevant to all the movements that we have in place right now in existence, not just in the state of New York, not just in New York City, but nationwide. I don't know if you ladies have anything to add to that, but I just definitely wanted to shine light on this newest cancel Goya trend.
I think a lot of people feel like they get stuck on a product or a brand, and they grew up with it. This is that and the third. It becomes part of their culture, right?
Mhm.
Um, and then there are other things like name brands like Gucci and even the Yeezys and things like that, where people are like, well, if we still buy that, why can't I buy my Goya beans? But here's how
Mhm.
you have to think about it. How much money has your entire family put into Goya's pocket versus the $350 you put onto those sneakers?
Right.
That is the difference. Like, yes, you shouldn't be doing either, but the one that's really taking all your fucking money generationally is Goya.
Yep.
And that's where we have to cut it off. This generational wealth. These people who make this generational money are the people who control the United States. You know why
Mm.
he's kissing Trump's ass? Because he wants to be close to power. That's the
Mhm.
reason. So that's
Mhm.
who you want to take the money from. Point
Yep.
blank period. And that's
No,
all I'm gonna say.
you're right. Free. Any words on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. The thing is too, it's like, this is the first time we're verbally hearing this. You know what I mean? The first time we're hearing this, and we're like, cancel Goya, hashtag cancel Goya. And you know, we don't know like what he's done since 2004 that he's been CEO.
Yep.
So you know what I mean? Like this whole time we've been supporting them, regardless of what his beliefs were. This is just the first time we're hearing about it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not I'm not pro what's happening or what he said at all by all means. It just sucks to know that you've been supporting a company that's probably been, supporting the other side, I'll just say, all these years and
Mm-hmm.
blindly. And there's a lot of products that we do buy as a whole or that are like partnerships and
Mm-hmm.
co-owners with other little companies that also might be, bought into Trump and his ways and whatever. But I think it's just something that we have to do more research, educate ourselves on, concentrate on supporting, Black owned, Hispanic owned businesses, women owned businesses, you know,
Mhm.
just anybody else other than the quote unquote man, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's really like where the direction has to go. It's
Mhm.
just within education and, moving forward and doing the right thing from here on out.
Right. Right.
And I just want to piggyback off of that just a little bit, Daisy. I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off.
it's
This might
okay.
be a long episode, guys,
It's
because
okay. We
we're I don't
vibing.
know we're chatty today.
Yep.
Conscious consumerism isn't easy. And shameless plug, I spoke about this on my podcast
Mhm.
episode 13 with Jasenia, and we have to do research when it comes to where we put our money. Like the other day I was thinking, well, if I can't buy Goya, I'll just buy El Jibarito, right? If I
Mhm.
want gandules. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. But you don't know who owns these little baby companies. Like that
Mhm.
can still be a little umbrella company under Goya and your money is still going to Goya.
Yep.
Like we
Hmm.
just don't know. Um Try to look for things that you can put your money into. Like I know it's not easy. I know buying canned beans isn't easy. Honestly, we shouldn't even be eating canned beans, but that's
Mm.
another conversation for another day.
Hmm.
Um But if you want to be conscious, if you want to be mindful about where your money is going, you have to do the research. You have to look into these things. We have all of the everything in the palm of our hands. We have no it's not like we have to go look like in the library doing the fucking, what is it, the Huey Dewey system, what the fuck is that shit called?
With the whole cabinet, the whole, it looked like a fucking
Yeah,
Rolodex.
that's how old I
Yeah,
am.
that's how
I'm
old
gonna
we
be
are.
35 in 2 days. I'm fucking old, okay? um
Not the Huey Dewey, it's the Dewey Decimal. She said the Huey Dewey system. But you got the Dewey right. It's the Dewey Decimal System.
Huey Dewey and Louie, okay?
Got you.
um but yeah, so just try to be more mindful of where your money goes,
Mhm.
if you can help it.
No,
Baby
it's,
steps.
and this is it. Like, so this is like information that needs to be talked about. And this is why I bring it to the table too. And again, like not even a shameless plug, no shame in that, because Steph knows. I mean, I've had her on the show multiple times, and her show as a platform for me as a podcast consumer also, it's definitely brought so much to me, on a very personal note. So I encourage everyone to also go listen to her show, because she brings a lot of different topics, but also relevant to the bigger picture as to why we are talking about shit on some Raw Talk podcast. Because if we don't talk about it, if you don't bring it to light, to Free's point, this man has been CEO since 2004. It's 2020. Great. We're opening our eyes now. We're seeing for what it is. But now let's trace it back and let's see what this man has been doing this whole time. And that's exactly where our monies have been going. And so if that doesn't piss you off enough, right?
Right.
If you just see it as, oh, I mean, no big deal. I'm still gonna buy Goya. I mean, listen, go right ahead. It's your decision to do so. But if that doesn't hit you home, then I don't know what will, because there are bigger pictures here. That's the main focus for me in life, is there's a bigger picture. And if we cannot see the full picture, we're going to miss the entire point. That's the bottom line for me.
Exactly.
At least personally, that's where I stand. So no, I mean, as much as I don't cook that often, although guys, I have been cooking lately because I got a brand new stove and fridge. Okay, I just want to say it looks beautiful in my
Beautiful.
house.
Beautiful.
I do want to now find new brands, and I have to do my research, and I actually
Mhm.
decided to look deeper into that because of what Steph's latest episode indicated to me, and that I was able to learn from that episode from her and her guests. So that's why I wanted to talk about hashtag canceling Goya. Now, on that note, I think I've covered the newest trends that kind of triggered me a little bit. And so we are going to dive into a little bit of a combination, my listeners. I advised you all, followers and listener, within the last 2 weeks, that if you guys wanted to get to know me a little bit more, to shoot some questions my way, and that I would answer them during this episode. Here's the thing, I did not feel comfortable asking myself the questions and then me answering them, especially now that I've been drinking. I think it's going to make me feel uncomfortable and I would look a little crazy. And not that you guys are going to see me, but what if I sound crazy, right? So, this is why we got Free and Steph here. So they can ask me the questions. And I have
This
taken.
is why, guys.
This is why.
But here's the kicker, okay? This is going to be the moment where we bridge two segments, as raw as it gets and double or nothing. So this is going to be a combination of two segments where we talk about culture shit, controversies, or even shit on social media. In this case, it would be all your questions that you've sent my way. And we're also going to probably go on a rant and keep it very, very raw on another dose. So, Steph and Free, are you guys ready to ask me the questions that I've sent you from my listeners to me? Okay.
Mhm.
And we are going to interact. So that means that Free and Steph are absolutely okay to ask me any further questions to each question. But here's the kicker, because Steph and Free have decided and agreed to do this for me, they also get to ask me a question each. Okay. And so on this Q&A for Miss D, Free is going to kick it off with question number 1. I have seen the questions. I do not have answers prepared. I'm going to answer while I'm under the influence of 3 glasses of wine. Okay, we can start now.
All right, Daisy. So the first question is, what do you love the most besides love?
What do I love the most besides love? So I'm not going to give the typical answer where I would say, oh, I love my son, because I do love my son, but he's my life. So there. But if there's anything that I have learned to love more than love. So I love love, and I've said that millions of times. I love love, and I love seeing people in love. But what I've learned to love these days, and this may also sound cliche, is how much I love myself, because I did not always love myself. I did not
Mm-hmm.
always give a shit about myself, or care about me being happy, or care about me being okay, or care
Mm.
even about having positive vibes on a daily basis. And not that I have them today, but I love myself enough to know when I need an intervention, even by, like, on my own. So, like, a perfect example, and it's funny, it happened today. We were all feeling all the off vibes today. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
retrograde shit is on an all-time high today, according to Steph. She
Yeah.
advised me. Okay. We were
The
all
planets are just
off.
fucking with us.
They're fucking with us big time. And I did not know why. And I was supposed to run 2 errands after work. And on my way home, I just made the executive decision. I said, no, fuck this. I'm going to go home. I'll do the errands tomorrow morning, because something still felt off. And the reason why I was able to make that decision is because I'm intuitive with myself at this point. I love myself that much to know when something is off, that I need to take care of me. So, yeah, that's what I love the most, besides just loving love.
Sure.
I
Good
mean,
answer.
that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Loving yourself is always the answer.
Mm. I like how Steph said that. I like how she said that. She
Wow,
said that.
I'm
she
so
said that
high, guys.
it was like Walter Mercado
It
style. It
was
was
real
like,
Walter Mercado, but that's because she's high. I wonder if Walter
sobre todo
Mercado
con
was
mucho, mucho amor,
amor. Amor. I wonder if he was
amor.
I wonder if he was ever high. I need to watch
He
the
Oh
definitely
documentary.
was.
man,
I want to watch that documentary
absolutely.
so bad.
I can't wait. Are we gonna do a movie night on
Oh
that?
my God, we should definitely do a movie
We are
night.
so gonna do a movie night. And we're
Yes.
gonna make sure there's subtitles for anyone who needs it. Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God, yes. I love it. Okay, so exciting.
All right. Steffi
Rest in
Kiss.
peace, Walter Mercado. Okay, huh?
Oh,
Sorry.
damn. I
Okay.
forgot.
Question number 2. If you could read minds, how would you use the gift?
Okay. So I saw this question, and there's an old Daisy and there's a new Daisy, right? And so the old Daisy, when she read that, she immediately said, I would want to go hit up all my exes, and I want to know what the fuck were y'all thinking, right? I would want to know what the fuck were they thinking when they decided to fuck up on me.
Mm.
But the new Daisy has decided, if I could read
Okay.
minds, because there's 2 Daisies. I still sometimes go back to the old one.
Mhm.
I would use the gift if I could help give any motivating words or encouragement to anyone about anything that they may be struggling with. I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys ever stumble over this. Free. I don't know if you've even, like, let's say, even shopping, let's say, right? But like Steph, for example, us who take the train, like, sometimes, like, you see people, they're just sometimes in a daze. Sometimes they look
Yeah.
like they're thinking really hard, and you just never know,
Mm.
like, what's going on in their mind. Those are the
Mm-hmm.
moments where I wish I could read their mind, because you don't know if they're struggling with something. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know if maybe I just happen to have the answer to something that they're questioning. And I would love to give that gift of being able to, hey, maybe I could help a person out, or maybe I could give them an answer to something, you know? And the only thing I could think of is, if I could read minds, I would like to know who the person is who handles all of the lottery of the state of New York. And I would love to know what the
Yes.
lottery numbers are.
Yes.
That's it. And that would be a gift to myself,
That's very smart.
and a few of the charities that I would like to donate to. There we go.
Okay.
The
Okay.
free foundation of free.
Now, what if, like, okay, you're on the train, right?
Hmm.
Wait, what? Okay. What if you're on the train and you see somebody and you're like, oh my God, they look like they're going through something, right?
Hmm.
But
God.
they're really,
Why am I laughing?
I don't know why you're laughing. I didn't even say it yet.
It's just going to go left.
It's really because, like, their shoe ate their sock and they're like trying to, like,
I can't breathe.
I know exactly what Steph is talking about. Yeah, we are so lit right now. It's disgusting. In my Daisy voice, it's
Oh
disgusting.
my god.
oh
Just
my
knew it was
God.
gonna be some
Okay, sorry,
outlandish
guys.
shit.
So here's the thing. Now, here's the thing. This is why I'm laughing, guys. I'm going to tell you why. Because as much as I notice people are sometimes in a daze and I wonder if they're okay, I mind my fucking business. I don't just ask them what the fuck is wrong with them. But let me tell you who does, okay? Now, I'm going to shout her ass out. My sister, Patricia, the Libra, okay?
Not
Okay? Now,
Patty.
I'm going to shout it out. I'm going to
She
shout it
said
out.
not Patty.
Yes, Patty, my sister Patty. Yo, it don't matter where we are. If she sees someone's a little trouble, yo, she will go up to them and just be like, "Are you okay?" Bitch, they could turn around and curse you the fuck out. Why the fuck you asking them? Mind your business. If they wanted you to know, they would have fucking said, "Ma'am, I need to talk to somebody." Like, mind your fucking business.
Now
You can.
let me know, because what if now one of these days
Oh
she's
God.
gonna run into a bitch like me and they're
Okay.
gonna ask, like, I'm just sitting here trying to hold in every single tear I ever had in my life,
Lord.
and that's why I'm stressed out. So I'm concentrating on holding my fucking eyes open so I'm not busting out into tears over some dumb shit that I'm just sad about that day. And then Patty's gonna be like, "Are you okay?" And then I'm just gonna start crying. What is she gonna do?
She's gonna sit down and cry with you. That's what my sister's gonna do. Libras are mad emotional, and that's why I say they're the cousins to Scorpio. For those of y'all who don't know, Free is a Libra, and she knows this is how I feel about Libras. Okay, they mad emotional. Yo, she's gonna sit down and cry with you. I be telling my sister, you can't be doing this shit. I'm gonna need you to mind your business a little bit, just a tiny bit, just a tiny bit.
Just a little bit. Because if you ask me what's wrong when I'm literally holding in tears, I'm gonna fucking just start. I don't know, Kim sobbing.
Just immediate ugly cry, like.
You know what I'm getting? You know what I'm getting stuff for her birthday? Travel size tissue packs. That's what the fuck I
Yes.
forgot.
Shut up. I've been better ever since I got off birth control, guys. I promise.
Well, that is
It
a
was
fact.
bad.
That is a fact. I have to agree with Steph. Once you get off that shit, you are a much better woman. Okay, much better woman. All right. Who got question number
So
3? I'm gonna finish this
the next
last.
question is, do you want to co-host?
Oh man. Okay, so when I saw that shit, how do I say this in a nice way? Well, I have amazing guests coming on the show, and at the moment, I have special edition co-host for this episode. I don't think I want to co-host. Sometimes I play with the idea and I entertain it, and I wonder like, who could it be, if it's anyone in particular, or what kind of a vibe I need from that person to make this show even far more interesting, right? But then knowing everything that goes into this production, I'm just so used to having control over it. I don't know if I'm going to be open to someone else stepping in to
I
take
feel you on
over,
that.
you know?
Mhm.
Like there's just certain things that I just know I like my way, and I like to argue, guys. If I haven't said that enough times, I argue with everyone in my family on a daily basis, which means if you're my co-host, we're probably going to argue on a daily basis.
Right.
I just don't
I
have
hate to
time.
argue.
I don't have time. In my very good StephyKiss voice, I do not have time. So, yeah.
So let
I
me say this.
say
When
it.
you do this from the beginning, like by yourself,
Mm.
like it's hard to let shit go. Even like we said, Free is our, certified little intern. We love
Mm-hmm.
you. Go free, free. Go free,
Thanks.
free.
Hey,
Go free, free.
hey,
Go
go
free,
free,
free.
Hey.
free.
Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey.
hey.
Okay, we're not gonna do a
Flip,
dance
flip,
off
flip,
today. Okay, that
flop.
was yesterday, guys.
Oh.
You did dance for us yesterday. Oh
I'm
man.
listen, okay. I'm just getting my life together. I needed to like
Okay.
shout out to Rick the Finisher. He was like, "Yo, didn't he say this?" He said this either on Daisy's episode or on our live somewhere with
Mm-hmm.
Daisy. He was like, "If you just, or maybe it was at the workout. He was like, if you just need to get up real quick and get your calories in, get them burned for the day at
Mm-hmm.
10 o'clock, just do it." And yesterday, a Beyonce song came on. Mid conversation, I got up and did the whole end of
She
get them
sure
bodied,
did. She
She
the
sure
sure
whole
did.
end,
did.
knees
We
on the floor,
watched
all
that
that. Okay.
fiance. We've
We
watched you,
did. We
Steph
watched it.
fiance.
Y'all didn't see it, but we did. We got first dibs and looks at this shit. And let me just say this:
Everything.
Get Embodied is actually on my workout playlist. So I
Hello.
love seeing Steph dance to that fucking song and burn them fucking calories. So there.
Fire.
But
Mm-mm.
anyways, when you do this from the beginning, it's hard to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to share, and it's hard to hear other people's point of view, especially if you have to like split it and all of that. So I feel you. I feel you on that. This is your
Yeah,
baby.
it is
I
my
remember you used
baby.
to say that this is your baby.
Yeah, it's my baby. It was
Mhm.
my other Pisces baby because Marcus is my first Pisces baby, and this is my other Pisces baby. And it's still my baby girl. This is my baby girl. So yeah, like I can't. I mean, I'm sure maybe someday I will entertain the idea again, but as of right now, I don't see myself turning over that much control. I just don't.
Right.
All right, next question.
Okay. Have you ventured out further into the BDSM community?
Okay. So when I saw that, I did see who it is that sent me that question. So shout out to you. I'm not gonna say your name, who it was, because I've never met you and I don't know if you have a wife. And if you do, I'm gonna assume you and your wife are into BDSM. Uh, but even if that's not the case, I'm gonna answer it. I have not ventured further since the pandemic started. I do want to venture further into it. For those who don't know, and I'm sure a lot of you do know what it stands for, BDSM stands for bondage and discipline, dominance and submission, sadism, and masochism. And those are the core pillars of what it stands for. With that being said, I have probably engaged in the first four and just not yet into the last two. Doesn't mean I'm against it. I'm not against it. I'm totally for it. I'm the type of woman who has to have that chemistry and that trust with a partner to fully engage
Yeah,
in all
agreed.
of that. And if I'm gonna engage, I'm gonna engage in all of it. And I mean all of it. But I need someone who I'm gonna be able to have that full trust with to do so. So I'm not against it. I just need to find the right person for it.
I don't BDSM never really called my attention,
Mm, I hear that.
but I'm not against anybody who's into it. I mean, whatever floats your boat. It's just
Hmm.
not my cup of tea, I guess.
I hear that. I hear that. Well, I mean, I'll give a little sneak peek and treat to my listeners. It's definitely going to be a topic that we're going to cover in the upcoming episodes pretty soon. So stay tuned.
Mm.
Yeah, that
we
should be interesting.
are. We are. And when that
Ooh,
happens, just remember, guys, I accept gifts for my birthday, and you could definitely send me a few ropes. I'm just saying.
Ooh,
there you go.
Oh,
there you go.
yeah. All right. Next question.
So, if you went back in time to change something, what would it be? And how would it affect your future?
Okay. So I have no shame in saying this. Because it's my truth. And whoever has any judgment on it can, like, pretty much, in Carla's words, suck my dick. One of the
Mhm.
things I would change would probably be to have my son at a later age, not at the age that I had him. I wouldn't change my son. I would still want my son exactly the way he is. Still with the person that I had him with, because I think we created a very perfect creature. And yes, I call him a creature because I don't know how he's evolved into the young man that he is today. Um, he's perfect in my eyes. I just would have wanted a little bit of more time to, quote unquote, grow up. And I think that's where it would have affected my future. I think the story itself is our story. It's my story, and I don't take it back. I share it because where I am today is part of that. But there are certain things that were not always the best. And that's definitely the pieces I would have loved to change for a different type of future. Still with the same son, I just would have wanted him a little later in life, just for me.
You would have wanted to wait.
Yes,
Yeah,
I would have.
and that's fair.
That is
That's
fair.
fair.
I
Yeah.
There's a
feel
lot
that
of
way too
people,
sometimes.
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of people that get condemned for that.
Mm.
Like, oh, well, what are you trying to say? You didn't want your child? And
Mm-hmm.
it's just
No.
no. It's like it's not like you regret him and don't want him.
Right.
It's essentially, literally what it sounds like. You just wanted
Yeah.
to wait um at a later time. So yeah, I mean,
And here's the thing,
it,
like, I've actually been condemned for certain comments. I
mm,
and this is the thing, he's 13 now, so we share those comments. We share certain outlooks, my son and I. There is nothing my son and I don't talk about. I'm a single mother, and his father is there, but his father lives in a different state, so he doesn't get to see him all the time. So my commitment to my son is that we have to have open conversation about a lot of things. And one of them is, my son knows he could tell me when he's tired of my ass. He could tell me when he's had enough of his mama. And he could tell me when he needs a break from me, because he's a human being. It doesn't mean he loves me any less. It doesn't mean he respects me any less. But shit, he's a child, and he's a young man. He's not ready to deal with women. So imagine having his mama all up in his face sometimes. You know what I mean? So we are two people who do coexist. My obligation is to raise him to be an outstanding man. And that's always going to be my commitment to him. But I always think that if I'm raising this young man to be a grown man someday, he needs to be in tune with his feelings. He needs to know how to communicate that for whatever his future is going to be and with whomever. Because no shade to any man I've ever dealt with, but I've dealt with a few who are not great communicators and do not know how to share their feelings or their emotions. And so I have to learn from that, and I have to make sure that I do it different when I'm raising a young man. You know what I'm saying? So it's a process of learning, and it's a process of growing from that. That's just how I see it. There's just so much bigger to me wanting to have done things a little bit different, and it's a huge picture on that in itself. So I have no shame in saying that. I just know people don't always agree with it, and they feel like there's a whole guilt trip,
Right.
about how dare you say that about your child. Like, I would
Right.
still kill you for him. I'm just saying that.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'd be the people with no kids too. I mean, I have no kids, but I'm not on that side of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But most of the people with that opinion, they don't have kids, so they don't understand, like,
Yeah.
really what a year difference, 2 years difference would have made on
Exactly.
your life. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And y'all have spoken with me on FaceTime. Y'all heard some of the shit he says. I think you guys were on FaceTime with me when he said he wants to have a kid at 25. I think all three of us chewed him up and was like, "What the fuck are you thinking? Don't say that,
Like,
Marcus. Like, wait. Don't do that, because there's just so much to live even at 25 all the way to 30 and 35. So, I don't want him to rush into doing shit like that."
Right. And that's something that you have to continue to like instill in him, because I remember being young and thinking at 24, I was ready. Like, I was old already. Like, I don't have a kid yet.
Mm.
What?
Mm.
And it's like looking back, I'm like 24, I was still a baby.
Yeah.
Like, I could have definitely waited. I could have most definitely waited.
Mhm.
But, it is what it is. I have my kid and I would never take him back ever.
Right, right, right. I agree with you on that. Like, he's my kid. Like, he's a dope person. And
Yeah.
I just want to be real raw at this moment to why I say the waiting part. I don't know if I've shared this before with the other episodes. As I admitted, I'm also very lit right now. So there.
Hmm.
But let me be very transparent and give a shout out to my mom and my dad for telling me not to move out at 19, and I did not listen, and I still moved the fuck out, and I did end up with a divorce and a child by age of 23 years old. And with that being said, shout out to them for still looking at me and saying, "Nah, you don't have to struggle. You can still come back into this house. Everything is
Right.
cool. Like, we're still by your side."
right,
Because sometimes, even when we make lousy decisions, we have to learn a certain hard
Mhm.
way. And that's exactly what I don't want my son to go through, which is why I talk to him so transparently about a lot of shit and a lot of the things I feel about myself, or even with this question, what would I have done different to affect my future? So there.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. That's a
Perfect
word.
answer.
Oh man. All right. Next question. I don't even know who's asking me the questions anymore.
It's my go.
Okay.
Okay. Who is your fantasy guest?
Mm. Oh my God. So I actually have two. And one of the fantasy guests I have, I will tag her page in my show description. I talk to her here and there. Her handle on IG is Get Body by Jay. She is actually a public figure, and she's actually personal trainer. She's had her journey in itself, but one of the reasons why I would love to have her on the show to dive deep into a specific topic, and I mentioned it in my last episode with Rick, was how there was a point I had actually entertained the idea of getting botched surgery to have a bigger ass. And the reason why I followed Get Body by Jay is it very much so affected her, caught up to her health, to the point that she could have almost nearly died. She shared her story. She's actually wrote a book about it. And she's one of the reasons why I stopped on getting this type of a surgery someday. And I decided to actually like, nah, I could work out and I could work on this shit. Like, I don't need to go have surgery for this shit. Also, someone very transparent, very raw with her story. So I would love to have her on this show as a guest. And the other person is actually Moneta Shaw, Neil, the singer's first kid's mother. I've read her books from a very single mom, single woman, entrepreneur, and also co-parenting standpoint. She actually just recently got engaged, so I definitely follow her. And yes, in my head, she's my friend because she follows me back. But also, she's someone who actually engages with her fans. Like, if you actually tag her on things or you ask her questions or you're messaging with her, she actually responds to her fans. And again, I've read her books. So just in reading her books alone, I would love to have her on this platform and dive a little deeper on just things that I've learned about her. In a sense, her co-parenting book is actually what really pushed me so hard on my end to work on myself to be able to co-parent with my child's father and his wife. So those are my like dream guests to have on the show. Yeah.
Okay. I actually followed Get Body by Jay for a while, like
Mm-hmm.
since before she had her surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll say about her is that I witnessed firsthand her growth
Mm.
because in the beginning of her journey, she denied having surgery.
Yep.
She was
Mm.
a full-on trainer, and people would ask her, and she wouldn't. I'm not gonna say she denied it, but she never answered questions,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of avoided it. Um, and then when it started affecting her health, well, I think before that, she opened up before that, and she was like, but I do work out because she does. She has an amazing figure. Her
Mm-hmm.
body is goals. Like, let's
Mm-hmm.
just say that goals after the surgery. So even before, when she posts her before pictures, I'm like, okay, girl, like, yeah, you weren't as fit as you are now, but you weren't disgusting. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's be
Right.
real.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but just her growth, because now she was like, it's because I felt this way about myself. That's why I got it. And, I did it the wrong way. I went to some, I don't know what they put inside of me, and I had to
Mm-hmm.
get it, taken out and all of this. So I applaud
That's
her for that
good.
because she was very transparent when it
She
was time for her
was.
to grow
Yeah,
and
she
hold
was.
herself accountable.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like, it was her transparency that really made me realize, like, I can't risk my life like that. Like, I respect anybody who chooses to have cosmetic surgery. You know what I mean? It's your decision if you want to go have cosmetic surgery. For me, I'm scared of surgeries to begin with. I'm a chicken. I'm in healthcare. I've worked for surgeons. I am a chicken when it comes to elective surgeries. So, but again, even with cosmetic, it's just always such a risk and it's always so scary because you know what you want to look like, but you don't know how it's going to come out.
Right.
And I've always been, if there's any part of my body that I've been self-conscious besides being at one point a plus size woman, that I was self-conscious of, it is definitely, you know, my ass. Like, I just wanted a bigger ass. I just wanted it to look a certain way. I just wanted it to be defined a certain way. And so I thought always, like, well, you could just go to one of these countries and get a whole new ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was definitely her who just made me realize, like, that's not always the answer. It could go really left and you can possibly die.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to her, but she's definitely someone who I would love to have on the show for that reason, for sure. Yeah.
Right.
Those
Yeah.
are two great
So
picks.
Yeah.
the next question is, why do we expect king behavior from men but don't act like queens ourselves?
Ooh. So I've definitely spoken on this before, but I'm gonna dive a little deeper. Let me be very honest about something. I am all about women empowerment and supporting women. And in my eyes, all the women in my eyes are queens. That's not a question. I just think that it's always going to be a two-way street when it comes to relationships. I'm not saying it has to be 50-50. Some days it's going to be 80-20, some days 70-30, and maybe even 60-40, right? Am I doing the math right? Because I'm a little lit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I
Hmm.
did the
You
math
are.
right.
You are.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. With that being said, I feel like there's for a long time, and again, I was transparent with this with Rick on my latest episode before this one. For a long time, I was conditioned to believe that I'm a queen. My dad called me that name, and I was conditioned to believe like I'm exceptional, like I'm supposed to be treated a certain way, regardless of what my behaviors are. And where it initially did change, it wasn't even when I got married, it wasn't even when I had a husband, it was in me giving birth to a boy. And me knowing what my commitment is to my son, the way I'm raising him, what I know to be an amazing young man, and hopefully being an amazing grown man someday. I'm trying to raise a king here. I'm trying to raise a king who's going to always respect and love the person he's going to be with. But that person has to earn it. And so I've had very transparent conversations with my son, and I've asked him what is his sexual preference, and he tells me it's girls. Okay, so with that being said, you're going to someday have a queen in your life. And whoever this queen is, for one, you are supposed to treat her as such, but she is also supposed to earn that. And I say that to say because I live, okay, and maybe Steffi could even relate to me a little bit on this or not, but I'm going to put it out there. I remember growing up, and even in our schools, we used to see some girls have this tendency of just thinking that they could just have loose hands with boys.
Oh yeah.
And they could just, smack up a boy, hit a boy, and think it's okay. And there is this concept that boys, you just don't hit girls no matter what. And while I am raising my son to know that he is not supposed to hit a young lady, he's not supposed to ever hit a woman, I also think there is a certain level of commitment for any parent who is raising a young lady to teach them that they should just keep their hands to themselves and also just not be raising their hands to their boyfriends, to their spouses at no given point in time. That draws a line of disrespect. And in my opinion, that is neither king nor queen behavior. And
Right.
that is just my humble opinion. And I am saying this because I was in a very shitty marriage at one point where we absolutely crossed the lines of disrespect, the both of us.
Mm.
And if we didn't last and it was not appropriate for us to be together, it shouldn't be in any type of relationship. Okay. And nor is it a pass to just be raising your hands to one another. That is not king or queen behavior to me,
Right.
because then that would imply that your power lies in disrespecting each other and behaving a certain type of way. That should just not be okay. It's just my opinion.
And not even that. Like, okay, so you shouldn't raise your hands at each other point blank period. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
a rule. That's a hard limit for me. Like if we're really gonna put it out there, I'm never gonna put my hands on you. You should never put your hands on me,
Mm-hmm.
point blank period.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is. But if there are women out there, like you said earlier, that think that, okay, well, they can't, men aren't supposed to put their hands on women ever. So I know I can get away with it. You know what that's
Mm-hmm.
called? That's called privilege. You're using your privilege because you know he can't beat your ass because
Mm-hmm.
that's frowned upon by society. But no, bitch, you should not be putting your hands on him either. Like,
Exactly.
you shouldn't.
Mm.
Because and maybe I got more my feelings intensified after I had a son, because I swear to everything, if a woman puts her hands on my child, I am going to beat her ass myself. I
Exactly.
could be 67 years old and she could be 40 and smacks my child and I'm going to jump on her back. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rightfully so.
And that's the
Rightfully
thing.
so.
Like for me, it's like we just should not expect it though. That's exactly the point in this conversation. It's like you just don't expect, to your point, Steph, like, oh, I'm not expecting him to hit me because a man is not supposed to hit a woman or a boy is not supposed to hit a girl.
mhm.
But that's a bad expectation. You're just not
Mhm.
supposed to be expecting this man to just behave like a king to you if you're not behaving as a queen should. Period.
Mhm.
And that's just an example of okay, the loose hands, right? That's just one example, but there are other examples too. Like, again, a relationship in its entirety, it just should not be, oh, that's the queen, that's the queen. Yes, she can be your queen. Yes, I hope to someday have a partner who looks at me as such, who looks at me as his queen. But you rest assured, there is not nothing I will not do to make that man feel like a king. It is
Right.
earned on both ends, in my opinion. So I do not know, why is it that certain, expectations lie solely on the men, but it is my hope that some way, somehow that does change a little bit, because I do think that it is to be put in the work from both ends, the men and
Right.
the women, to be at that type of level in love. Yeah,
I agree.
that's what I think. Next question.
And the final question. Brr, 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 brr.
Bow,
What is the craziest dream you've ever had?
Oh shit.
bow.
When I read that question, I should have asked the person who asked, are you talking about like a regular dream or sexual? Because those are both two very different levels here.
Oh
Um,
no.
so
Oh, wow.
what happened?
I said, oh, wow.
Yeah, no, yeah, I could give it to you. All right, so regular dream. I know some people, some of my listeners and followers, right, joke about how they have to put the knives away from me because I tend to go for the knives. But one of the craziest dreams I did have was, and I'm not gonna say who it was that I was stabbing, but I definitely became a serial killer in my dream, and I was stabbing someone. So that's why it's important for people to keep knives away from me.
That's right up my alley.
Yes.
As far as true crime shows, so you're
Mm-hmm.
catering to me. Thank you.
Yes, yes. I've actually dreamed it. I've actually dreamed it. It was someone who was
That's
pissing me
wild.
off. And I went to bed. I remember just like not feeling my best with the interactions I was having with this person. And I totally woke up. I'm not gonna lie, very happy. Um, because in my dream I stabbed the shit out of this person. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And if I'm going to be honest, sexually, the craziest dream I've ever had sexually, I literally dreamed a full reenactment of a
Ooh,
full blown dick down that I got, to the point that I woke up without realizing fully orgasmed. And my
Oh,
body temperature and my sweat
phenomenal.
was like disgusting. And that has only happened to me once.
wow.
And it was a full
Right?
reenactment in a dream. Only happened to
I
me one
love
time.
when I get those dreams that I think I'm
Yes,
having sex. Those are the best
it
dreams.
was amazing. I will never
That is
forget
That you
that
wake
one.
up
nice.
just like grinding the bed. Is that just me?
No, no, I woke up like that. In fact, my legs were totally in like crossed a little, like one crossed over the other. My hand was totally in between. I have no shame in that shit right now. I'm gonna be honest,
No, mine
100%.
don't be that bad, I don't think.
No, mine was bad. It was so bad that that's when I think that was the moment I realized this was totally yo-yo dick and it was completely toxic. Yeah, I think that was the moment I realized that. Yep, yeah. But those are my two craziest dreams ever. No judgments, please. All right.
Not at all.
So I know that was the last one for my listeners and followers, but I just want to double check. I told you both that you can ask me any questions you like. So I just want to check if you guys do have any question for.
Okay, I'll go
Okay.
first.
Oh
Okay.
shit, she actually has it. Okay.
Oh, I know my high ass, right?
Ooh.
Well, this is just to piggyback off of one of the questions that you already kind of
Mm-hmm.
answered. Um, if you could go back in time and tell your 17-year-old self anything, what would it be?
Oh, it must be the liquor. Well, the wine, because that just got me all choked up. 17-year-old self, I probably would have told 17-year-old self to stay focused on her true passion for a career, which was not healthcare,
Mhm.
and don't grow up too fast, to live every single day to the fullest. Don't grow up too fast.
Don't grow up too
That's a good
fast.
one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good one.
Yeah. Damn, that just got my chest, girl. Ooh.
Right. It's funny because her question, brought up kind of like what my question was going to be about.
Ah, look at
So,
this.
like, based on what you answered, what mine was actually was which you had already answered, but there's another part to the question. It says, you know, every day when you're young, you want to say, "Hey, mommy, I want to grow up to be X, Y, and Z."
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, how has your life been different than what you'd actually imagined?
So that's actually an excellent question. Oh, y'all hit my chest right now. By chest, I mean my double D's and my soul. Uh, growing up, I always told my mom, actually, bringing up mommy, bringing up La Charo. I always told her that I wanted to be a journalist on TV, and I wanted to interview people, and I wanted to give the news. And clearly that's not where I ended up with a career, but it's funny that things have taken such a beautiful turn I'm not going to say they went left, they taken a turn because my passion, at 17 was to go to pursue a career in communications, which would have ideally been radio and media buying and planning. And I didn't do that because I became a single mom. And so 13 years in healthcare, and here we are. I'm a podcaster. And so when I think of one day picturing myself setting up this whole little thing on my love seat sofa in my living room, in front of the TV, pretending to be interviewing people. My mom just saying, "Oh, DT doesn't shut up. She always likes to talk." Um, here we are today. I'm a podcaster. And so as much as I know she doesn't know like what I say because my mom doesn't know perfect English. She knows I'm doing something that I do like to do. She knows I definitely talk about sex, that's for sure. But she knows like I'm doing something that I once upon a time, you know, said I wanted to do, just I'm not on TV, and I'm not this like famous newscaster or famous journalist on a famous channel.
Right.
Till this day, she tells Marcus, your mom was 8 years old when she wrote her first book and she won a contest and it was up on her elementary school library and she still has that book, and it was published. It was an actually published little tiny book. And, when she preaches that and I tell her like, I want to write a book today and it's something that is in the works, it's real. It's real to how I was when I was a child and where I saw myself growing up to be. And it's now that I could say, okay, this is aligning to what I once dreamed of. And maybe
Right.
someday, even on a podcast, I could interview, the guests that I so much would long for to interview. So I think it's like coming around a little bit full circle, maybe.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
got
it
me emotional,
definitely
y'all.
sounds
I'm
like
not
it.
crying, but it hit my heart. It hit my heart just now. It did. That was dope. All right. Any more questions by any chance? Just want to check with you
No,
ladies.
yeah, no.
No, we're good. All right. So that was like 10 full questions. You guys got a little bit of more insight of Double Dose of Miss D on this platform, my show, 20 episodes in. I cannot believe this is where the fuck I'm at. Just before we started this recording, I said, "Oh, who knows? Maybe I might be able to celebrate my first full year of this podcasting life with a full live show in New York City. Who knows? Maybe, possibly. Um, it's okay. Um, I wanted to just shine some light that this today is Monday and we are recording, and this one is going to drop. You guys will be listening to this on Thursday of this week, but you guys are
Hey.
actually in for a treat and you guys will be getting double the dose of Free Stacy. That's what I'm gonna title it. Free Stacy. Everybody's
I
gonna
like
get double
that.
the dose of it. Because we're also going to be featured. I mean, should we say featured? Yeah, Free and I are gonna be featured
I don't know what
on
happened, guys. I'm sorry.
it's okay. Don't worry. We're still flowing. Um, Free and I are going to be featured also. So you guys are going to get double the dose of Free Stacy on this week from Thursday on my episode, which you guys have just heard. And then it would be tomorrow with Do I Look Fat podcast.
Wait, what did I
Hey.
walk in on? What did you say? What did I miss?
I was letting our listeners know, I'm going to say ours because we do have common listeners, that
Mm-hmm.
they're getting double the dose of Free Stacy this week.
Free
Free
Stacy.
Stacy.
Y'all, Steffi had a little bit of a timeout going on, but she came right back like a podcasting G that she is.
Bruh.
Um, so I wanted to let the listeners know that they're in for a treat this week with the three of us and some more surprising guests on Steffi's pod.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
I want to definitely thank Free and Steph for coming on this episode to get this more raw and transparent. Transparent. This is how you know I'm lit and fucking drunk.
Mhm.
Transparent. And even more so intimate on me answering said questions that listeners and followers have decided to send my way. And also thank you both Matsu bitches out of the five who pulled through for me, y'all, because whenever the fuck I need help, y'all just there and I could just turn to y'all and y'all help me out all the time. So shout out to
Yes,
y'all. Thank you so
yes.
much.
We are here.
Yes. And like I said during those questions, y'all, there's more to come on this show. Come being the operative
Always.
word with some
Coming soon.
Well,
coming
excuse
soon.
me.
Coming soon.
Y'all, there's going to be a whole vibe coming to this platform. And don't forget, please, 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 please continue to have the important conversations. It is all raw talk. So let's talk about it. Any last words to my listeners, guys?
It's still COVID outside, guys. I feel like I just transported back to March, but yeah, it's still COVID. It's not over. Please try to just be mindful of what you're doing. I'm not gonna tell you what to do because I'm not ranting anymore. Also,
Mm-hmm.
subscribe to the Do I Look Fat podcast on
Mm-hmm.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all that jazz.
Mm-hmm. And I will put her info in the show description. Free, any last words?
Just to be the one to tell you what to do. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and wash your ass. And I think that's precisely what wraps, the COVID situation up. Um, you can find me on primarily Twitter or Instagram. I post one picture a month. So, it's always a treat. But other than that, you can find me on at Kvngfree, which is KVNG free, on Twitter and Instagram, podcast and streaming.
Yeah. Oh, y'all heard that. I'm going to tag her
Ah,
info too because y'all want that dose at least once a month because we enjoy it and we love it. Y'all, this has been another week and another episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. I am your host, Misty, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.
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 Thank you for joining me on this week's episode on Double Dose of Raw Talk podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. And when you leave the review, tell your friends and then tell your friends to tell their friends. Nothing makes me happier than to read the reviews that you guys are leaving and the feedback I am receiving from my listeners. I have received suggestions on topics they would love for me to cover, and trust that I am reading those reviews and I am reading those suggestions and I am listening. So please feel free to contact me on my social media pages and the show's email. All my information is in the show description. Nothing would make me happier than to hear from you guys and to know what it is that you would love from my platform to cover on some raw talk. So let's talk about it. Talk to you next week. Bye.